Back with you tonight here out in Focus. Of course, moments ago, that announcement being made tonight at the eThekwini ANC Regional Conference. Zandile Gumede, now elected regional chairperson. Political violence remains a big challenge in South Africa. 28 years after the dawn of democracy, KwaZulu-Natal accounts for most of such cases, especially around election time. For more on this and the outcomes of this conference, we're joined now by UKZN Political Science Department's Dr. Fikile Vilakazi. Dr. Vilakazi, good evening. Good to have you with us tonight here on In Focus. Zandile Gumede back at the helm of the eThekwini region. What does this tell us really about the dynamics that are at play in that region?
Good evening, Thabo, and good evening to the viewers. I was actually watching as the nominations are being read, and I think this is a litmus test to the Constitution of South Africa, and it absolutely is a mirror of what we should expect in the provincial elections of KwaZulu-Natal in July, but also in December, as we head towards the National Elective Conference of the African National Congress. Thabo, it is a test of Section 96 of the Constitution, and I'll tell you why. Because Section 96 of the South African Constitution talks about the conduct of cabinet members and deputy ministers, but also it talks about, political office bearers that, I will paraphrase it. They should never actually find themselves in any act in any way that is inconsistent with their office, which includes things like personal gain, or personal, or benefiting for their own personal interests from the proceeds of the taxpayers' money. And we know, everybody knows that Umama Zandile Gumede has got this cloud over her that she carries, which is allegations of corruption about the Durban Waste tender, and she is still to appear in court, I think in July sometime this year. So this is setting a trend, a particular trend that is worrying and concerning in terms of how then do we uphold the Constitution of South Africa, as particularly for the ruling party, because the ruling party is supposed to mirror a character of our society, politically speaking, a character that seeks to condemn any kind of behavior that promotes corruption. So the fact that Mama Gumede successfully won these votes should tell us and confirm for us the character of the African National Congress. Not just in KwaZulu-Natal, we have seen it happening in Mpumalanga with the election of Umandla Msibi. We have seen it happening in Malahleni, so that is something that I think we should know now, now that the outcomes are clearer for us, what we should be expecting going forward. But it also means then that the renewal project of the African National Congress as a resolution of the December conference at Nasrec is somehow also vulnerable, where we are seeing branches and regions of the African National Congress continuing to take a lazy walk towards the implementation of the step-aside policy in the resolution of that conference.
Do you think, sorry to come in there, Doc, do you think the outcomes of this conference are as you put it, a litmus test also that will determine whether or not President Cyril Ramaphosa gets that second term? How strong is this particular region and this branch in particular in swaying and having an influence in those outcomes?
We know that the eThekwini region has been very influential in terms of elections of national office bearers within the African National Congress, and of course, therefore, shaping who's going to be the head of state in the country. So what then this means is that the road for the current President, Honorable Cyril Ramaphosa, towards the electoral conference is becoming even more tougher, because we have had, as we are observing these elections, that the former Minister of Health, Mkhize, is intending to contest for the presidency of the African National Congress. And of course, we know that the faction that he belongs to is that one which supports Umama Zandile Gumede. So the fact that now we have Umama Zandile Gumede being nominated and coming out victoriously from this conference should tell us also that perhaps that faction is preparing itself to support Udokotela Uzweli Mkhize towards the possibility of being the president of the African National Congress, and it then does make the stance of President Ramaphosa a vulnerable one going towards that journey.
Dr. Vilakazi, I appreciate your time. Thank you very much for coming on. Dr. Fikile Vilakazi there, UKZN Political Science Department representative there.